Hey, what's up, everyone? So yes, this is going to be another Joker video that I'm going to make, and probably this will be my last one because I don't really have much more to say on it. I think there's plenty of videos out there with people that have given a take much better than mine and have been much more detailed and much more, I would say, probably introspective than this video will be. But for those of you that are here on the channel that watched my stream a couple days ago where I did kind of a review slash discussion. If you guys want to check that video out, I'll go ahead and link it in the suggestions or in the description below for you guys to check that out. But I tried my best not to spoil anything, but I did say right off the bat that I liked the movie. I like the movie very much. Like many have said, I believe it also to be the best movie I've seen this year personally. Again, that's just my opinion. And of course, it's caused a lot of controversy, right? With people saying that it's a movie that will radicalize people to do, bad things. And obviously nothing really major has happened yet, and hopefully that'll remain that way. But I didn't take that away from this movie after I watched it. But there's a couple other things that have happened since then, right? Outside of some of the news reports. And I want to talk a little bit about a couple of those things. Now, first and foremost, this is probably one of the more recent things that happened here with the Joaquin Phoenix interview that he had with Jimmy Kimmel, where he talked a little bit about the movie. And then there was a point in time. Now, I'm not going to play this video because, due to copyright and things like that, but I'll go ahead and link it as well in the description below so you guys could check it out. But in this interview, they were talking about the movie, and then there was a point in time towards the end of the interview where Jimmy Kimmel said that Todd Phillips had sent him an outtake, and then he asked Joaquin Phoenix about it. Now, this outtake, it kind of reminded me a lot. The first thing I thought of, and a lot of people are saying this as well, is that it kind of reminded me of when Christian Bale went off on the set of Terminator Salvation. There was like this audio leak. I'm sure you all remember, where he was just tearing into one of the crew members there. I think it might have also been the cinematographer in Terminator Salvation. I do believe that that's the person that Joaquin Phoenix was kind of talking to in this outtake clip, where he's just kind of, jabbing at the guy or whatever, because I guess the guy did something, and Joaquin Phoenix, responded to him and seemed to be annoyed with him. So people are saying this could be all staged between Jimmy Kimmel and Joaquin Phoenix, that he probably knew that this clip was going to be played. Some people are saying, oh no, he caught him completely off guard. You could tell by the way, his body language and the way he reacts. But then people are saying, oh, well, he's an actor. He could pull off that stuff. Who knows what the truth is? Maybe it is something that Joaquin Phoenix knew about beforehand, because a lot of people are saying that prior to these interviews, you know what you're going to be asked and things like that. I don't think that that's always the case. I think there's been plenty of times in the past where we've seen that interviews haven't gone the way that the interviewer has thought, because they kind of blindside the person they're interviewing. A good example of that, I think, would be when Robert Downey Jr. was interviewed a couple years ago. It was after, I believe, the second Avengers movie had released, and he was brought on with the pretense that they were going to talk about the movie, and then the interviewer, kind of switched gears and started talking about some really personal stuff that caught Robert Downey completely off guard, to the point where he was just like, what are we doing here? And then he just got up and he left the interview. He walked out of the interview. As we've heard, Joaquin Phoenix has also left an interview when asked certain questions about the movie. That didn't happen here, of course. He didn't get up and walk out on Kimmel, but it seemed like he was blindsided with this, like, because of all the things, right? Jimmy Kimmel says that he was sent this outtake reel, and they just trimmed down this one part. So it makes you wonder, what were the other outtakes? Maybe there was some more ad-libbing or some more improving, some probably humorous stuff that probably happened. But he chose to pick out this point that makes Joaquin Phoenix look kind of like a prima donna and a diva. Makes it look like he's kind of a pain to work with. And it makes you wonder, was that done intentionally? Now, keep in mind, according to Jimmy Kimmel, Todd Phillips, the film's director, is the one that sent him these clips. So is it possible that Todd Phillips was the one that kind of did this, or that Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix are the ones that went on this, that he told Joaquin Phoenix, hey, I'm going to send Kimmel some clips, some of the outtakes. Let's see what he decides to use out of all the stuff I'm sending him. And he used the stuff that kind of portrays Joaquin Phoenix in a bad light. It portrays him as a person that, like I said, looks like a diva, kind of a little bit of prima donna-ish, making him look kind of, like a jerk, complaining to this guy that's working with the crew. So who knows? Maybe that was the intent. Maybe it was Todd Phillips doing some kind of social experiment just to see what it was that Jimmy Kimmel would use. Maybe it's possible that Jimmy Kimmel, Todd Phillips, and Joaquin Phoenix are all in on it just to see, just to get a reaction of the audience. Who knows what the truth is? Maybe it's somewhere in between. I don't know myself. I can't say. I mean, when you see Joaquin Phoenix's reaction to it, like you see in this picture here in the video, it seemed to me like he was generally bothered by it, but you never know. Like I said, he's an actor. He might be just playing it off. He might have known that this was going to happen. Him and Todd Phillips might be the ones that are in on it and anticipated this happening. Who knows? But people are saying that the whole thing might be kind of meta, right? The fact that there's a scene in the Joker movie, and this is a spoiler, so just for y'all that haven't seen the movie yet, if you want to skip ahead a little bit here, this is probably going to be the only thing I kind of spoil about the movie. There's a point in the movie where obviously Joaquin, as the Joker, is on Robert De Niro's talk show, and he gets there's this point where he tells Robert De Niro's character, hey, the only reason you had me on the show was so that you could make fun of me. So people are trying to say, like, well, maybe that's what he was doing, and that would be a great way to market it, right? It is true that controversy creates cash, so maybe, again, Joaquin and Todd Phillips knew beforehand that something like this was going to happen and knew that it would just benefit the movie that much more. They would bring more attention to it because the movie is doing well, of course. So who knows what the truth is, whether or not it's a setup or not. I guess in time maybe that'll be revealed, or maybe we'll just never know. But I don't know. But we also have seen articles like this pop up, like this Daily Mail one, which I've seen some other people cover it, and I just wanted to go over it just a little bit here myself. When you see a headline like this, it's almost laughable, at least to me. But let's get into this article real quick. It's way too terrifying. Joker viewers around the world walk out of movie theaters and urge cinemas to ban the ultraviolet film, saying it glamorizes gun crime and deals with mental health issues in a triggering way. So we'll go kind of a little bit point by point here, and I'll give a little bit of a commentary. I don't think I'm going to go over the entire article because I just don't think it's a good article. I think it's the typical article that a lot of these sites that are trying to paint this narrative, this is a movie that will kind of radicalize people into doing bad things. It's kind of the same over and over again. It seems to be a lot of the same cutting and pasting of what they're trying to convey. So let's see. Some moviegoers bashed Joker on Twitter and said they walked out. A fan claimed Joker was too terrifying considering what is going on in the world. Others are raving about the twisted R-rated portrayal of Batman's nemesis. The film is raking in cash, breaking the October opening day box office record. So far, there have been no serious incidents despite fans of a shooting. One theater in California shut down for a night after police received the threat. In Manhattan, a disruptive patron was escorted out after scaring moviegoers. Police across the nation have high security in place for Joker screenings. Okay, so let's continue on here. Joker is continuing to stir controversy on its opening weekend after some fans stormed out of the theaters around the world saying the movie was too disturbing and triggering. The R-rated supervillain flick smashed October opening day box office records after taking home $39.9 million in domestic ticket sales on Friday, and is on pace to take an eye-watering $92 million weekend total. But not everyone is embracing the dark ultraviolet film, which sees Joaquin Phoenix portray Arthur Fleck, the embattled clown who later transforms into Batman's most iconic nemesis. Okay, so right off the bat, I see what they're doing here, trying to paint this as an ultraviolet film. It really isn't. It's really tame in comparison to a lot of R-rated films that I've seen, both recent and in the past, right? When you use ultraviolet film, I don't think of a movie like this. When I hear ultraviolet film, I think like some horror movies like Hostel. To me, that's an ultraviolet film, right? We're talking about Hostel and Hostel 2, that these were movies that people were like throwing up in the theater, passing out, leaving the theater screaming because of how extremely violent it was. I mean, think about the Saw films. The Saw films, all of them, I would say, each individual Saw film is way more violent than Joker, in my opinion. I mean, does Joker have violence in it? Yes. Does it have violence worthy of an R rating? Yes. But it's not as graphically violent as several other movies that, I should say more than that, just many other movies that I've seen. It's really tame in comparison. So I think already right off the bat, trying to paint it as this ultraviolet film is already false. It's really not that bad. It's really is tame for an R-rated movie, in my opinion. So, one fan on Twitter literally just walked out of a screening of Joker. Way too terrifying to be there with all this going on, the way the movie glamorizes gun violence and mental health issues. I don't think it does either of that. I honestly don't. I mean, I know that for people, cinema is another form of art and it can be subjective, but I really didn't get that at all from this. Think about this also for a moment. It's not like from beginning to end, it's a Rambo movie, right? Where he's just blowing people up and just guns all the way. That's, there is a gun in the movie that is used, but it's not like every scene. This is not beginning to end a gore fest. And I don't believe it glamorizes or even glorifies mental health issues either. I think it really it paints a picture of how bad mental issues the extremes that people can go to without getting the proper mental care, I think. But let's continue on with this. Others have gone as far as calling for the movie to be banned from theaters, saying that it promotes violence and could even inspire mass shooting. I didn't get any of that. I didn't get that sense at all from this. If anything, again, it shows kind of the opposite, I think. At first, of course, you watch this movie and you do feel sympathy and empathy for the character, but that goes away over time as you see this descent into badness and evil. You don't feel that. At least I didn't, continuing to watch this movie. But let's read on here and see what else this says. Thus far in opening weekend, I should say, there have been no reports of violence at screenings after police across the nation went on high alert and beefed up security at theaters. There have been isolated disruptions at screenings, though nothing so serious as an actual shooting. In Huntington Beach, California, one theater canceled 2 screenings Thursday night after receiving a threat. Police said Friday showings have resumed as scheduled. In New York City, police responded to a screening after one audience member sparked fears by spitting on others and clapping loudly every time the Joker killed someone. Okay, that's another thing too. They make it seem like he obviously kills quite a bit of people, but I don't think it's that bad. I think that could be exaggerated, but who knows? Let's see. Let's read on here. Fearing he had ill intentions, police escorted the man out of the theater. A witness reported that the man had poured a bottle of tequila into his slushie before the movie began. Well, there you go. So some drunk jerk who can't handle his alcohol, who doesn't know how to behave when he's had a few, acted like a jerk. Okay? No indication that he's, a violent, spitting at people obviously is not good, but he's just a jerk, really. Let's see. S was scary, like a 4D movie experience, the witness tweeted. Okay. All right, and we'll look at some of these tweets here that people tweeted out. I walked out of this movie, #Joker banned this movie. It's a psychological approach on the mind. I was rooting for him until S got real. I think that's most people that were watching it. Like I said, there's points in the movie where you sympathize and even empathize with him up until you realize what he does is wrong and you can no longer relate to that. You look at that and you say, yeah, no, man, you went too far. I know that person was a jerk. I know that person did some mean stuff, but they didn't deserve to die. You know what I mean? I can't get on board with you with that. So I don't know what but again, to each their own. Would have walked out of the Joker after an hour if the missus would have let me. That almost seems like a troll post. That almost seems like a troll post. I mean, like the guy is asking people to roast him. I don't know. But okay, I guess we know Guess we know who wears the pants in that relationship, if that is true. But I feel like that might not be a real. Who knows? You know, that might be somebody trolling. Let's see. Mikey Gomez, white dude next to me, walked out of the Joker in the last few minutes of the movie. Had me a little shook, not gonna lie. I don't know why somebody walking out of the movie would have you shook. I would think that would mean, okay, well, that should be, I mean, that's kind of normal. Maybe the guy was trying to beat the traffic that was going to ensue after everybody left the theater. Maybe he had to go use the restroom. Maybe he was just done with the movie. Maybe he didn't want to watch it no more. I don't see how him leaving would alarm you that much. I mean, maybe if he got up and started, shouting or doing something, I would think that would be a little bit more jarring, right? That would be a little bit more alarming, or bringing some kind of attention to himself. I mean, just leaving, okay. I mean, take it easy, bro. Let's see. And this one says, I've never walked out of a movie but with Joker I came very close. I mean, okay. You didn't like the movie, that's fine. I mean, there's times I've watched movies that aren't very good that I felt like walking out on, but because I paid for them, I stuck to the very end. One of those movies was Ali. I was very pumped to see that movie beforehand, but when I actually went to watch it in the theater, it was very boring. I almost fell asleep watching that movie, and I felt like walking out of that movie. That's the first and only movie ever that I've paid to go see that I felt like walking out of. But I stayed because it's like, well, I paid for it. I just got to bear it. I just got to stick with it. So Ali, that would be the only movie I think that I've ever felt that way about. So let's see. After taking home $3.9 million in Friday domestic ticket sales, the biggest October opening day ever, Joker is eyeing a huge $92 million weekend total. That's on the higher end of the initial box office projections, which saw the film debuting in the $80 million to $95 million range. Either way, the film is likely to beat previous October opening weekend record holder Venom, which opened to $80.3 million last year. Joker has generated widespread controversy for its villainous depiction of evil, prompting some theaters to increase security. The movie is also generating ticket sales overseas, where it scored $32.7 million from 73 foreign markets, bringing its international total up to $57.2 million. Top Friday openers included the United Kingdom, $4.7 million, Mexico, $4.2, Japan, $1.9, and Spain, $1.4. Behind Joker is Universal's animated adventure Abominable, which took home $2.7 million in its second weekend. Downtown Abbey came in third with $2.4 million, and STX fourth weekend of Hustler scored another $1.9 million. Rounding up the top five was Warner Brothers' It Chapter 2, which snapped at $1.4 million. Some fans, unprepared for the movie's dark intensity, took to Twitter to reveal that they had walked out of screenings. Okay. Now, as we know, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, right? That they actually did go watch the movie, right? I'm sure that's a very small minority of people that walked out as opposed to the ones that stayed. And even then, how do we know for certain, right? I guess we'll just have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they actually did go watch the movie. But how many times have we seen this before, right? With games and with other forms of media where people will say, yeah, they'll chime in, give an opinion about something and not watched said thing, right? Or let's say, for example, this happens a lot with games, right? Where people will comment about a video game and then say, well, I actually haven't played it yet, or actually I had no intention of buying it, but now I'm not going to buy it anyways. So it's just like, so what does it matter then? You didn't actually follow through with anything, so you haven't actually experienced it. You haven't actually, looked into it, but you want to comment about it. You want to have an opinion about it. I mean, I guess that's fine. People are entitled to have an opinion about whatever they want, but nobody should take that seriously because you don't really have an informed opinion. It'd be one thing if you actually experienced it. Like these people that are actually going to the movie and can say stuff about it, have actually seen it and could talk to the stuff that's actually in it, mention scenes and stuff like that, or maybe even lines verbatim. Okay, that's fine. And if you still don't like it, that's fine. That's totally fine. That's your right. But I'm sure that there's a lot of these people too. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of them that said they went to go watch this movie, but didn't actually go watch the movie and are saying that they walked out of it and they actually never even went. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the case as well. But I guess we'll never know. We'll just, again, have to kind of take their word for it that they did. Either or, it is what it is. The movie, like I said, doesn't do all the things that it's been accused of, in my opinion. But again, the movie's subjective. I guess people are going to draw whatever conclusions they want from it, whatever fits their narrative. It is what it is. For those of you that have seen it, let me know what you guys think of the movie in the comment section below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Because, I mean, really the only complaint that I can see for people that like... I've seen people that have said they liked it, but one of their biggest gripes with it is that it was a little bit boring. I could see that. But for me, I was engaged throughout the whole movie. I thought it was good. It's a movie that I'll definitely watch again. To me, it's one that's also own-worthy. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And until next time, y'all know how it goes. The hunt continues. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like, share, and comment below.